Welcome back to DAGryffyn Hobby. My name's Dave. It's time for yet another edition of Small Box, Big Fun. The thing in this box, small, should be a lot of fun. It's something I've been casually looking for, thinking about, whatever, for a long time. I didn't want to just go out and buy the set. I wanted to find something that would lend itself to a couple of projects. This one's missing a few pieces, which hopefully I'll be able to 3D print. So I think that will be pretty interesting. Also, I want to upgrade this with the electronics from my last small box, big fun video, the Santa Fe TMCC speeder. I want to take the electronics out of that and put them in this. At least that was my intention for buying both of these small box items. I really don't know what kind of condition this is in, if it works. It's a set I've been looking for, but looking for really cheap. And this one was listed, I think, for $66 on eBay, and I offered $55 and they took it. So a total of, I think, $66 for the set in this box. So hopefully it's in good enough condition to justify $66, which means my expectations are not that high. At first, I was not too happy with the fact that it is in such a small box, figuring that it can't be packed well. Well, check this out. I open it up and the one item is in another box. That makes me happy. So there was some conscious effort put here, even though it is a smaller box, to make sure the stuff was going to arrive safely. So the first car was wrapped in a plastic bag, wrapped in bubble wrap, wrapped in paper. It looks like it's in really good shape. It's missing one of the buffers on one end, but other than that, it looks good. What is it? It would be somebody from everybody's favorite TV show, Clarabelle. She's missing one buffer. I'm not even concerned about that. Maybe I'll look into 3D printing one. Maybe I won't. Hopefully Annie is in as nice condition. Oh, Annie's missing two buffers, but the die-cast couplers seem to be good. Cars are in good shape. So a total of 3 missing buffers. I don't think that's a problem at all, especially considering I got the engine and 2 cars for $66. Okay, so that means in the box, of course, is Thomas. Now, I never really watched Thomas when I was younger because I believe it came onto the air in the United States in 1989. And at that point, I was in high school. So animated shows about trains really weren't at the top of my concerns. Howsoever, when I had kids, they were big into Thomas. And we even went to Strasbourg for the day out with Thomas. And we all had a great time. So that was a lot of fun. But they always liked Thomas. And I probably should have bought this set years ago. Maybe if I did, they'd be interested in the trains now. But they have other interests at this point, and this is not going to sway them. So there he is. Missing a buffer, just like the cars were. Back's okay. Missing the roof. It seemed to me that most of these that I saw online for less expensive were all missing that roof anyway. So that will be one of the things I try to 3D print, along with maybe other faces. Oh, and a buffer, or 4 buffers. This looks pretty good. I don't really know which version this is. It says 2004 on the bottom. It's the version with those pickups. The other version has the pickups kind of built in to the motor base. It's missing a screw out of the bottom. It's got a traction tire. Got some dirt on the side. Coupler's okay. For $66, this set looks a lot better than I thought it would. But does it work? Let's find out. Well, I guess it works. It just started up there. I forgot I had changed the settings on my TMCC so that now when I turn it on, it's at full power. so that I don't have to bring the track power up every time I want to run something. And this is fine because I also have the ability to switch it to conventional mode and use the ZW. But as you can see, I turned the power on and Thomas took off. Okay, so once I got the settings right on the control center and I removed other trains from the track, Thomas seems to be working just fine. A little wobbly and a little loose maybe, a little squeaky. So I'm going to oil the axles a little bit and then run it some. So before we get into watching this little guy go around the layout, a little bit about why I got him and why now. As I said earlier, I didn't watch Thomas growing up. Once I had kids, they watched him, and I have to say, I enjoyed the shows and the movies. We probably have a bunch of them still on our server, so I could probably go inside and watch about 8 or 9 hours with Thomas right off my computer right now. So why the cheapest set I could find? Well, that actually goes back a little further than having anything to do with this set. I was scouring eBay looking for less expensive ways to upgrade engines to at least a basic TMCC control. And one thing that's always there are the TMCC speeders and the TMCC tie ejectors, I think. And they always are about around $100 to $120. And I was thinking, you know, I don't think it would work, but wouldn't it be interesting to buy a TMCC speeder, take the electronics out of that, and put them into, let's say, a K-Line GP38, and then have TMCC in that engine for $100. And then I could take the speeder and put an old electronic E-unit in there and still have a speeder. So, or even sell that speeder as a conventional speeder, and then I've really spent, you know, a very little bit of money on upgrading an engine. Now, from what I understand, the TMCC boards in those speeders can't handle anywhere near the amperage required for a larger dual-motored engine. So that's just not going to work. I'm still tempted to try it just to see how long it would last before the board overloaded and shorted out. But maybe if I find a speeder for real cheap, I'll do it just for the fun of it. So I was thinking, what other engines could I try that with? It's kind of just an idea for a project I had, and I want to try it out. Consider it a learning experience. You know, how do I remove the TMCC from one thing, put it in another, wire it up, make it work? You know, is that something that I can do? I'm sure it is, but before I go and start getting like PS3 upgrade kits and stuff like that, I want to fool around with some less expensive stuff, partially for the fun and partially for the experience. So I was looking for other things to experiment with. And I figured, Thomas, small engine, 2 really light cars, I'm not going to go and pull a whole bunch of boxcars with them. So that might be a great thing to try out. The motor in Thomas is, I'm sure, bigger than the motor in the TMCC speeder, but it's a gamble I'm willing to take, and I think it would just be a lot of fun. So that's how I ended up where I am now. I was looking for inexpensive Thomas sets, and this one came up real cheap, and I figured this was the one to do it. I'm actually impressed that it works. For $66, I figured it was going to be shorted out or something, and I would end up with an engine that didn't work. But really, it's in great condition. So I'm going to run it a little bit, just enjoy it as it is, and then probably once it's a little warmer outside and I can spend a little more time out here and work on some projects, I'll dive into the disassembly of the TMCC speeder and seeing if I can get this guy to work with the TMCC board out of that. Since I can't do that right now, I say we just enjoy watching Thomas chuff around my layout. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time on DAGryffyn Hobby.